Viofo Dashcam parking mode. In this video, we're going to show you how to actually activate it, what parts are needed in order for it to work, and what every single one of the different parking modes do. Let's go. So first things first, if you have the following dash cameras, the Viofo A329, the Viofo A229 Plus, A229 Pro, A119 Mini 2, or the Viofo WM1. All of these dash cameras require the purchase of a Viofo HK4 in order to actually have the dash camera work while parked. If you do have an A129 Pro, A129 Plus, or an A119 V3, you will need the Viofo HK3 parking mode cable. If you have an A139 Pro or an A139, you will need the Viofo HK3C parking mode cable. And last but not least, the Viofo VS1 will require you to purchase an HK5 parking mode cable. Now, you will also need it hardwired directly to your fuse box or wired to a battery pack in order for parking mode to work. So if you have an LCD screen, we can actually do this through the LCD screen, or you can use the smartphone app, especially for the ones that do not have an LCD screen like the A139 and the VS1. And we're going to go directly into the settings and look for parking recording. And as we go into the parking mode, we can actually go directly to time lapse 1 frame per second. Super night vision. So this new super night vision actually brightens up the image, especially at night, and draws way less current than the current parking modes available on the other dash cameras from Viofo. This is one of our top recommendations if you're not worried about recording any audio while parked. We do recommend looking at the time-lapse 1 frame per second super night vision parking mode.
So we're going to start off here with time-lapse parking mode. And as you can see, we're at 1 frame per second. And the main difference between anywhere from 1 to 10 frames per second. So let's take a look at this here. If you're doing a normal video recording with your phone or with most video recording devices, they're recording at 30 frames per second, which means it's taking 30 pictures per second. And as we go through the time lapse, when it's taking 1 picture per second, that means it's using 1/30th of the room. And when we go as far as 10 frames per second, we're using 10 out of 30, which is 1/3 of the space. So which basically means that at 1 frame per second, you can get about 30 hours of video length as compared to the normal 1 that you would get on that in time-lapse mode. So keep that in mind when using that in parking mode. So now we're going to move over into low bitrate recording. And low bitrate recording, as you can see, we now get audio. It's now getting recording audio. It's going to take about 1/3 of the space of a normal audio event detection or motion detection recording. So if it would normally take up, I don't know, 1 gigabyte of space, this is going to take up about 1/3 of that for your video file recording. And it's still going to record at 30 frames per second in the low bit rate recording mode, which is actually very good.
Auto event detection, also known on other dash cameras as motion detection. And basically the way this works is if anybody moves or something walks by, a car drives by, within where the sensor will pick up, it will actually wake up and start recording and save that video file. Now, often people think it's only the front camera, but front, rear, and if you have the interior camera, all 3 of them will actually record into the parking mode file folder. So now we're going to move into parking recording timer. And basically what this allows you to do is change and limit the amount of parking time. You can do 30 minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24, or 48 hours. So this is the amount of time your dash camera will record while parked. Keep in mind, we only recommend using 3 hours or less on the average vehicle to actually limit the wear and tear on your vehicle's car battery. A lot of other dash camera companies on the market do not have these settings, and that's why we see a lot of dash cameras get a bad rap for batteries dying. Enter parking mode timer. Now, this is actually a great setting, especially if you have kids or maybe you're a golfer and you have golf clubs in the back and you want to actually have an extra 90 seconds so that you can get out of your vehicle before the parking mode is enabled, because the G sensor is actually more sensitive in parking mode than it is while you're driving, and you don't want to come back to your vehicle with any false alarms. And a lot of times with some of the other products on the market, even some of the products we carry, they don't have this parking mode timer, and we're trying to work together with some of the manufacturers in order to implement this. Especially if you have kids in the vehicle and you want to get the kids out and get them out of their car seat, you'd like to have that extra time before it goes into parking mode. Parking G sensor. We recommend putting it on the highest setting. The reason why we do recommend putting it on the highest setting is because this is to detect impacts while you are parked. If you do find you're coming back to the vehicle and you have way too many false alerts, then make sure to put it down to medium. Not every vehicle is the same. There are different shocks and suspension on every single vehicle, and some vehicles may be more prone to being a lot more sensitive than others. Parking motion detection allows you to change the sensitivity of your motion detection on your front, rear, and interior cameras, depending on how many cameras you have in there. Parking GPS allows you to turn off the coordinates and GPS data while you are parked. And parking HDR, if you're not using time-lapse super night vision, we would recommend turning that on. I hope you enjoyed our video on how to set up Viofo dash camera parking mode. If you are looking for how to download them, we actually have separate videos for Android and for iOS, so feel free to check those out. We'll try and link them in the comments. If you do have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I also want to note the A129 Pro, A129 Plus, and the A129 and A119 V3 does not support the time-lapse super night vision parking mode that we talked about earlier that's on the newer dash cameras. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are looking to support us, check us out, safedrivesolutions.com. And if you are looking for professional dash camera installation in Greater Vancouver or Greater Toronto, check us out. Thanks again.